I'm Dale Smith for Looney Politics, and this is the week that the proposed new parliamentary budget officer will face Parliament. Annette Ryan is currently an executive with FinTrack, and she's been named by the Prime Minister as his choice for the new parliamentary budget officer, which is not what the Conservatives are looking for, and possibly not the Bloc as well. Now, what generally happens with an officer of parliament is that when a name is put forward on the House of Commons side, the candidate is then forwarded to a committee where they will get to ask questions of the proposed candidate. And over in the Senate, this happens in Committee of the Whole, which means the entire Senate will get to hear from him or her and ask them questions and get to make a determination as to whether they think this person is suited or not. There is generally a 30-day window by which this can happen, before or at which point the government can call for a ratification vote. But in this case, it looks like this is the week that it's going to happen, in part because the position is already vacant and the office is essentially on standstill until there is a new officer in place who can then move all new business and outstanding business forward. So what this is going to look like is that the Finance Committee in the House of Commons is going to summon Ms. Ryan and will then get to ask her questions. And this is where I expect shenanigans are going to happen, because the Conservatives have decided that they want the interim PBO, Jason Jakes, in the position precisely because he disqualified himself by saying things like that the size of the deficit was stupefying and so on. Every single former parliamentary budget officer essentially denounced him for that stunt and said that that's not appropriate for the role. But the Conservatives, however, figured that was just great because it's the kind of thing that generates clips that they get to then use on their social media channels, because this is all a big performance for them. And so that's why they want Jakes to continue in the role, even though he disqualified himself. So I expect that when Ms. Ryan is before the committee, the Conservatives and possibly the Bloc will try and pick her apart as best they absolutely can in order to try and find enough fault with her record and her experience in order to declare her unqualified, so that they can then recommend Jason Jakes once again continue on with the role. And it may come down to a ratification vote in the House of Commons. We'll see what ends up happening over the next week, but I expect that this is all going to take place within this week, and by end of the week, we might have a new parliamentary budget officer in place, or shenanigans might happen, so stay tuned. For Looney Politics, I'm Dale Smith.